Ojo, Desta Bazwa Nadijnakas, North Spirit Lake Nadonji. My name's Desta Bazwa. I work for KO Board of Education as the EPP liaison. I have the good fortune today of sharing with you some art and stories captured in beads and acrylic paints and other forms of art mediums on the table here from a sampling of the KO communities. So within Kiiwetinoong Ogimakanuk, there are 6 communities that make up our tribal council and that our Kiiwetinoong Ogimakanuk Board of Education works to serve. We have McDowell Lake, Poplar Hill, Deer Lake, Keewewin, North Spirit Lake, and Fort Severn First Nations. Within our tribal council catchment area, we have Ojibwe, Oji Cree, and Cree nations. And within each of our communities, you will find our stories, reflections of our land, which essentially is reflections of our language and the people that we are of Kiiwetinoong Ogimakanuk. So I am very thankful to show you a sampling of some of our artwork and some of our talented members. These mukluks were made by Mrs. Miles in Fort Severn. And as you can see in her floral patterns, they're quite unique to the Fort Severn territory. And in her mukluks, you'll see gifts from the land, such as the caribou tanned hide and the sealskin fur. These mukluks are very unique because Mrs. Miles did the beading right over top of the seal fur, which is quite unique. Mrs. Miles further made a matching pair of Minshkawanan mittens to go with these beautiful mukluks. Again, that beautiful floral patterns of Fort Severn, Washoe Cree, and again, the smoked caribou hide with the sealskin fur. Further to Fort Severn, you have Mary Burke, an elder in Fort Severn, who makes these beautiful little mukluks that can be held either as an ornament or they can be worn as a necklace. And I often gift these items to people that come and do work with Kiiwetinoong Ogimakanuk Board of Ed as a reminder, thanking them for walking with us on our educational path. Another Fort Severn community member, Marjorie, made this. This is my name, again, smoked caribou hide. My name, Desta. And again, I wear these when I present because I always want to highlight our language is so important. Another Fort Severn artist made these mitts, these gloves, and they're so impressive because they're true to size, but in a miniature form. So beautiful, beautiful artwork. A purse created from Fort Severn. And again, if you look at the floral patterns, it's very unique to their area. And it's really something to appreciate and to consider the different patterns of the KO communities. In the middle here, I have some sample vamps from my late Bookham Connie Ray of North Spirit Lake. When my Bookham passed away, as is customary in our community of North Spirit Lake, we are offered a gift of one of her belongings to carry with us to remember our loved one who has passed on. So when I went to my Gookham's house upon her passing, I was offered some of her beadwork. And my goal is to finish off her beadwork and to frame the pieces so that I'll always have part of my Gookham stories, part of my Gookham's artwork, some of her voice within my home. Further down the table here, we move towards some of the artwork from Keewewin First Nation. In the back, we have an assortment of little baby wraparounds that were made by Christine Kakagamic, along with her beaded purses, coin purses. And the floral work in the beaded coin purses is very impressive and requires a lot of patience, a lot of commitment, to finishing off a process, one which Christine does so excellently. These two little pairs of baby moccasins were made by Mary Jane Kakapidum of Keewaydin First Nation. And these little baby moccasins were ordered, and when ordered, Mary Jane was requested, please pick something that's reflective of the territory of Keewaydin and something that is reflective of the land, because these little moccasins will be used as a part of a teaching tool to teach a little one right from an early age to be aware of the land and to be appreciative of the gifts from the land. These 3 beaded necklaces were also completed by Mary Jane. What I love about these necklaces that Mary Jane did is she uses various gifts from the land in her artwork. She uses the smoked moose hide, she uses the quill work, she uses the birch bark in creating her medallions, and she uses her talent to feature what you would see in and around Keewaydin, whether it's the birds or the animals or florals. The last 2 pieces down here, the beaded style of acrylic painting, were also done by Mary Jane Kakapidum of Keewaydin. And she really is an expert at her craft and puts great patience in the work that she completes in her designs. And again, the floral pattern, the florals of Keewaydin are so beautiful. The last thing I wanted to showcase up here is simply this little kit that was provided to one of our elders from the Anishinaabe-Gumik Friendship Center in Sulakaut. So this little kit has everything for you to begin beading. It has your size 10 or size 11 needles. It has your nylon thread. It has your pattern. In this case, it's a poppy to complete a beaded poppy to honor our indigenous veterans. And it has your size 10 or 11 corresponding bead sizes with your beading needle. It has your beading mat, so you can put your beads down on and they won't roll everywhere. And then it has your vinyl backing to complete your pin. And also your pin back goes there. And your glue to just put everything securely in place. And the reason I show that from the Anishinaabe-Gumik Friendship Center is because today we have had the opportunity to share with you some of the teachings surrounding beading, some of the values surrounding beading of Keewaydin Ogamakanak. But we understand that we have opportunities to learn from other people, whether it's the Métis, whether it is people from outside treaty areas such as Treaty 3, and we can learn from one another. And we're committed to sharing our stories, listening to your stories, and following the guiding principles of ensuring that we're respecting this as our ways of knowing amongst Keewaydin Ogamakanak, and understanding that you also have your ways of knowing from your area, the land you come from. So we're just very appreciative of the time you took to learn about Keewaydin Ogamakanak beading throughout our communities. Miigwech.